I'm sitting here thinking about the fact that we're fast approaching the holidays, and they're not happy for everyone. Who's not going to be at the table, at the tree, bringing in the new year. All of those things are what's going through people's heads. And I know grief. I know all about grief. I had an uncle who passed away. On our way home from his funeral, his only son was killed in a car accident, coming home from his own father's funeral. On the other side of my family, I had an aunt that passed away. While we're making arrangements for her services, her son, who was also her caregiver, passed away. It happened so quickly that even the funeral home was confused. They called us apologizing because they had someone there who had the same address as my aunt. And the thing that took me down, that taught me everything I know about grief, was when my uncle, who was the eldest member of my family, passed away, and my boyfriend passed away within 2 days of each other. That was a riptide for me. It floated me out into the middle of nothing. My depression was so deep, I didn't eat, I didn't hear, I didn't even know it was possible to be alive and not have a thought in your head. I didn't hear anything except one thing: pain and fear in my cousin's voice when she said, "I don't know what to do for her. She won't eat, she won't get up, she won't do anything. I don't know what to do." And then she handed me the phone. It was my mom. With that same level of fear and add in urgency, she said, "You are depressed. Get up, get help." It wasn't the words of my mom, even though they were very strong, that got me out of the bed. It was the fear and the pain that I heard in their voice, recognizing that it was me that could stop that. So I did. I started doing anything and everything I could to try to get the help for myself. I called my employer. I got a grief counselor, too, actually, to try to help me work through this. I was talking to priests, I was talking to ministers. It was not about religion. I needed to help myself. And in the end, I realized I was still standing and I had to help myself. I recognized that there was a pattern. I had been through all of these things before, but there was a pattern in my recovery. So I started writing it down because I didn't want to go through this ever again in my life. Not like this. This was scary. When I wrote it down, I wrote it into what is my 7 stages of hope. What I learned from all of those experiences after I documented is that, number 1, a lot of people are in a stage of grief and don't recognize it. Number 2, each stage of grief has a stage of hope that is empowering to us. And number 3, we all have everything we need inside of us to be successful and prevail over any circumstance that comes before us. In my 7 stages of grief, of hope, we'll only talk about 3 today. We'll talk about the fact that we need to embrace our options and our power, because we have power. Sometimes we deny that we have power. Sometimes we ignore that we have options, but we always do. Embrace the fact that you have power, you have options. There's also getting centered, orienting yourself to your surroundings, being present about what you are doing. Getting centered means getting a solid footing, being stable. Whatever it takes for you to do that. Sometimes it's meditation, yoga, music, whatever it might be. Do that thing that it takes to get you on solid ground and centered. It goes totally against anger, which is the absolute opposite. Get centered. And thirdly, we will talk about getting connected. The first thing we do and the worst thing we do for ourselves is if we feel like we're not at our best, we sequester ourselves. The worst punishment in any penal system is solitary confinement. And yet we voluntarily do that to ourselves just because we're not at our best. But what we need to do is get connected. Reach out to someone that can be there to support you, to talk to you, to give you a listening ear. Get connected, reconnect to the people that love you, to friends, family. Go when you are invited, even if you're just taking a sparkling water. It's okay. What we need is to be connected. These are 3 of my 7 stages of hope. If you're interested in finding out more, I have written a book. It is called Learning to Pivot, Mastering Resilience. It can be purchased on Amazon. My name is Deneen Andrades. You can reach out to me at www.deneenandrades360.com.